Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Dibs, Mr. Crockpot on Twitter. Today, we are breaking down my top 10 offensive tackles in the 2022 NFL Draft. Guys, if you are new to the channel, smash that subscribe button. Let's go. Before we get into my top 10, I have one honorable mention, and that is Rasheed Walker out of Penn State. Before we deep dive into Rasheed Walker, there are some things you need to know first and foremost. Most importantly, you have to start with 32 starts across 3 offensive systems. In addition, Rasheed Walker injured his knee in Week 6 against Iowa, and it hampered over his next 4 games before getting shut down and missing the last 3 games of last season. Rasheed Walker is an impressive athlete who was highly regarded coming out of high school and early in his college career. His production dropped in 2021 for a variety of reasons, including issues with overall technique and inability to handle quicker pass rushers. Rasheed Walker has all the tools athletically to succeed at the next level despite being so raw as a pass protector. I see him being selected somewhere between rounds 3 through 4 in this year's draft. Let's watch some highlights. Alright guys, let's jump into the top 10, and number 10 is Abraham Lucas out of Washington State. Here is a prospect that's only allowed 4 sacks and 49 pressures in 4 years. His 9.72 raw athletic score at the combine simply cannot be ignored, and Abraham Lucas's draft stock has been steadily rising. Lucas is one of the best pass protectors in this year's class. He has an instinctive feel for the game, and he's very rarely beaten, even by top-level edge rushers. He also has the ideal size you look for at the position, and he has a fantastic attitude for the game. I see him as a day 2 prospect in the NFL Draft. Let's watch some highlights. Coming in number 9 in my rankings is Darian Kinnard out of Kentucky. Darian Kinnard has an intriguing blend of size, power, and quickness. He needs to become more polished and consistent with his technique at the next level, but he's got ideal size to play either guard or tackle in the NFL. With a little more coaching, I see this guy being an impact offensive lineman in year 2. If it all clicks, Darian Kinnard has legit upside compared to his peers. I see him as a day 2 prospect. Let's watch some highlights. Coming in number 8 in my rankings is Nicholas Petit-Frere out of Ohio State. Petit-Frere has a lean frame with good length and has split his time at tackle and guard at Ohio State. His solid athleticism and quick feet allows him to get up to the second level in a flash. However, he's not the most fluid prospect, and his handwork needs a little more polish at the next level. He is equally adept in the running and pass blocking game, and he has very few flaws which can't be overcome with some good coaching. I see him being a high-end backup with the upside to become a starter at tackle or guard within a year or two. I think Petit-Frere is worthy of a day 2 selection in this year's draft. Let's watch some highlights. Coming in number 7 in my rankings is Bernhard Raimann out of Central Michigan. Raimann has the best story. He was a foreign exchange student from Austria, and he developed himself into a tight end prospect. In his 3rd season at Central Michigan, he made the transition to left tackle and just became a mauler in the run game. He's an older prospect. He'll be 25 years old his rookie year, and he's still relatively new to football. Shockingly, he's got a lot of polish in his game with strong hands and good body control. Raimann is super athletic with excellent technique, and despite being so new to this position, I think he's good enough to be a day 2 selection in this year's draft. Let's watch some highlights. Coming in number 7 is Daniel Faalele out of Minnesota. Daniel Faalele is simply one of the biggest prospects in the entire 2022 draft class at 6'8" and 387 pounds. He has an enormous thick frame and build with very quick feet, which is most noticeable on tape when this guy gets into space. He's got heavy hands and good quickness to dominate in the run game, which will be his bread and butter. In pass protection, he's a tad raw. He's a basketball and rugby player from Australia who's got 31 career starts at right tackle. This is one of the ultimate boomer bust prospects in the class. His upside is undeniable, and if he can keep his weight down and do all the work off the field just as much as on the field, I see him as a day 2 prospect and would not be shocked at all to see him in that round 2 area. Let's watch some highlights of Daniel Faalele. Coming in number 5 in my rankings is Tyler Smith out of Tulsa. Here's a tackle prospect with elite foot quickness and big time upside. Tyler Smith has a violent play style which shines the most in the run game. While his feet are nimble, his footwork is still a little bit raw, and he can struggle to sustain leverage on blocks at times. He's a terrific athlete with solid thickness throughout his frame, good length, and big hands. Explosiveness is the word when it comes to Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith's physical traits, paired with his ability to dominate the run game, as well as his untapped potential, easily makes him one of the more valuable day 2 prospects available. Once he further develops his technique in pass protection, this prospect could be a rising star in the making. I've got a day 2 grade on Tyler Smith. This is one to watch out for. Let's watch some highlights. Coming in number 4 in my rankings is Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa, one of the biggest winners of the draft process. Here's a guy who dominated Senior Bowl week and continued to impress during the combine. Trevor Penning has ideal size with experience playing all across the line, including both tackle spots and guard. He's got quick feet, and his play strength in the run game immediately stands out. The only obvious negative is playing in the FCS, so he's never really been tested against top-level players on a consistent basis. I think his combination of length, strength, and awareness should be enough to get his name called in round 1 of the NFL draft. Let's watch some highlights of Trevor Penning. Coming in number 3 in my rankings is Charles Cross out of Mississippi State. Charles Cross is a left tackle prospect with ideal size, length, and balance for the position. In the run game, he doesn't have elite agility or power, but he does have enough to get the job done. He does an excellent job taking angles and getting into the second level. In pass protection, he's oddly polished despite only 22 starts under his belt. Pass protection is where Charles Cross as a prospect shines. His awareness is elite, and he has enough athleticism to cover up counter moves as needed. This, along with his play strength and physicality as a run blocker, Charles Cross is an immediate impact starter at the next level, and I see him as a round 1 selection in this year's draft. Let's watch some highlights. Coming in number 2 in my rankings is Ike Ekwonu out of NC State. First and foremost, this is an absolute mauler in the run game. This is easily Ekwonu's best attribute, and he's a tone setter with nastiness on the line of scrimmage. He can uproot defenders with force, he's quick out of his stance on pulls, and delivers knockouts on the second and third levels. On the opposite end, with pass protection, he's a work in progress. He tends to overset, and he can be a little bit over aggressive. With a little coaching, Ekwonu can become a top-tier tackle in the NFL. If it doesn't work out, he slides inside and becomes a Pro Bowl caliber guard for the next 10 years. I see Ike Ekwonu as a top 15 selection in this year's draft. Let's watch some highlights. And then we get to number 1, and that is Evan Neal out of Alabama. Neal is absolutely massive at 6'7" and 350 pounds with a rare blend of size, athletic ability, balance, and play strength. This is a former 5-star recruit with strong hands, quick feet, and very good awareness. In pass protection, he has really good foot quickness and always remains in control to handle speed rushers. In the run game, he quickly overwhelms defenders with his size, agility, and play strength. Evan Neal has all the tools to be a top-notch starting left tackle from the jump. Concerns include a tad underdeveloped as a pass protector and occasionally getting beat by faster edge rushers. Regardless, I see this kid as a top 10 prospect, and he should be tackle number 1 off the big board by the end of the month. Let's watch some highlights. So those are my top 10 offensive tackles in the 2022 NFL Draft. Did I miss anybody? Comment below and let me know, or message me on Twitter at Mr. Crockpot. This wraps up my positional rankings for the 2022 NFL Draft. If you missed anything, be sure to subscribe and find any of my position rankings at the Painted Lines. Thank you everyone for watching. Stay awesome.